Sir Roger Gale is with us now. Hello to you, Sir Roger. Thank you for joining us on the programme this morning. Could you have predicted any of this?
No. Quite simply, I couldn't have. Because I didn't see it coming in this way. I said after the mini budget that fortunes favoured the brave, but not the foolhardy. And I felt at the time that that was foolhardy. That, at least, I suppose, has been proved right. But the rest of it, no, I don't think many people predicted how this was going to play out or is playing out.
What do you think Jeremy Hunt's up to?
I think Jeremy Hunt has taken on the job. It's quite clear that he's taken on the job on his terms, that he said he will do it, but he'll only do it if he can do what he believes to be necessary to stabilise the markets, to stabilise the economy, and to get the show back on track. And that's what he's doing. And there is real power in Downing Street, but it's not in number 10, it's in number 11.
Why is he announcing another statement today? Why is he not waiting, going through the books, working with the Prime Minister and waiting until the 31st of October, which is a date which has already been brought forward for another look at this Prime Minister's fiscal plans?
What I think the Chancellor is seeking to do is to stabilise the markets, pure and simple, at this stage. That longer-term plan will be announced on the 31st of October, as I understand it. And that will be make or break, both for the new Chancellor and also for the Prime Minister, if she's still in post at that time. And I have to say that because it may be that she will review her own position. But look, Kay, what I'm concerned about, and what I think we all ought to be concerned about, is the fact that this is real people's real lives, real homes, real small businesses that are at stake. This is not, or shouldn't be, about the Conservative Party, but about the future of the country and the economy. And I genuinely think that that is what Jeremy Hunt is seeking to address. We've got to keep the market stable to allow ourselves time to get through this and to come out, hopefully, on the sunny side.
So, Roger, how has your party got itself in this mess?
Oh, well, apparently with considerable ease. It's no secret. I did not vote for Mrs. Truss, and just for the record, I didn't vote for Rishi Sunak either. In the final ballot, I felt that I'd had my say and others had to have their say, and the party chose Mrs. Truss. She came forward with a plan which was bold and brave, but as I've said, I think foolhardy. She's acknowledged this, she didn't roll the pitch, she didn't prepare the ground, and her Chancellor didn't prepare the ground, so everybody was caught, I think, to a large extent on the hop, and the markets don't like that. That's led to a situation, I'm afraid, of a financial situation that, yes, is heavily influenced by global affairs, but also is very much of our own making.
Do you agree with what she was trying to achieve?
I think we could probably, certainly on our side of the House, all agree with what she was trying to achieve, in the sense that we are and want to be a low-tax party, and we are and historically have been and want to be in support of growth. The economy has been flatlining for far too long. What she sought to do was to stimulate growth in a very big way indeed. But in order to do that, she took some measures that quite clearly were not palatable, not acceptable, either to the public or to the markets. And that has been what may well prove to be her downfall.
But what she said she was trying to do, along with her previous Chancellor, who can say that after 38 days, was to stimulate the economy in order to try and get growth of 2.5%. That's not going to happen, is it now?
Well, whether that happens or not will depend upon what this Chancellor does and how he does it. I obviously hope that he'll succeed in stimulating that growth. But what she did, and what her Chancellor at the time did, what Kwasi Kwarteng did, was to make significant cuts in tax unfunded. And that's what spooked everybody. Where is the money coming from? She had already, quite rightly and correctly, sought to bail out people's energy bills, for not only for this winter, we have to remember, which is what the Labour Party were talking about doing, but for 2 years at very considerable cost. That was the right thing to do. What she should have done, in my view, is to have stopped there, caught her breath, looked at the whole scene, and then come forward with a properly prepared proposal. What actually happened was that the mini budget was rushed out without sufficient preparation, without sufficient thought, and without sufficient explanation. That's what's led to the downfall of her first Chancellor, and may well lead, I fear, to her downfall.
As we know, Sir Roger, MPs did not want her to be the next Prime Minister. As you said, quite rightly, they wanted it to be Rishi Sunak, but the members did. Were the members wrong?
I think members of Parliament probably have a better perspective of both the economic situation and the personalities than the general membership, for very good reason. We know them, we work with them day by day. The general membership doesn't, and that's understandable, and I don't think we should expect. I'm not seeking to blame the membership for getting it wrong. It was not my choice, but we have to accept, we live in a democracy, we accept the system as it is. But look, again, the situation we face now, unfortunately, is a lot of people apparently, although I don't rely on newspapers for saying how many letters have gone in to Graham Brady, and those letters at the moment aren't worth the paper they're written on, because the rules would have to be changed in order to have a leadership election. And God knows the last thing we want is another leadership election. You've then got a situation where if the Prime Minister were to decide that her position was untenable and she went, then there would have to be, I think, a coronation. Now, in order for that to happen, you've got to have an agreed candidate. And at the moment, I see no single agreed candidate within the party.
Could there not be a coalition of the sides? We know that Rishi Sunak and Penny Mordaunt, despite them saying they're not, they are both clearly on manoeuvres.
Well, Penny Mordaunt has been saying, and she's absolutely right to say, that what we need at the moment is stability. And that is what Jeremy Hunt is trying to inject, I think, into the situation. I said earlier, and I will say again now, the power in Downing Street is in number 11, not number 10. I think Jeremy Hunt is de facto Prime Minister at the moment. And I hope that he will be able to. He's a very experienced man. He's had long experience in cabinet. He's been Foreign Secretary as well as the Health Secretary. He's a businessman, a self-made businessman. He understands economics. And I think he can get this right. But it's quite clear that all the shots are now being called from number 11. And in a way, I have to say I'm very pleased that they are, because I think that will stabilize the markets. And I hope that we can find a way forward for the United Kingdom, for our country, not for the Conservative Party.
Is that because Jeremy Hunt is Prime Ministerial and the Prime Minister doesn't know what she's doing?
I think Jeremy Hunt does know what he's doing, and I'm not going to seek to take side swipes at anybody else at all. I just think that we've got now the right man in the job at the time. People rise to occasions, and I hope that Jeremy will. I wish him well in his endeavours for the sake of the country. Because if he gets this wrong, then we're going to go to hell in a handcart. But if he gets it right, then we can emerge from this, I think, better and stronger. And we can start to move forward in the direction that we all really want to go.
Would he be a good Prime Minister?
Well, I supported him for the premiership when he stood against Boris Johnson. So, not surprisingly, I would have to say absolutely yes to that. But that's not the game that he appears to be in. He's doing a job. He's getting on with the job, I hope. And I think, and everything that's coming out of number 11 suggests that he's working very hard and very fast to mend some fences. So let's let him get on and do the job and take each step, I think, as it comes. I'll be very interested to see what he says from the Treasury later this morning.
Just a reflection before I let you go. The Prime Minister's news conference on Friday, how did you react to that? I'm sure you were watching it either live or caught it soon after.
It was commendably brief. I think I was interested to note that the 4 journalists who were allowed to ask questions didn't ask the one question that I suspect quite a lot of other people wanted asked, which was, given that you are joined at the hip with your Chancellor, given that you both believe in the same policies, given that you prepared the mini budget together, why have you sacked him? Nobody answered that question. But then nobody asked it.
Yeah. To be fair, she didn't take many questions, though, did she?
No, but for me, if I'd been one of those journalists present, if I'd been Harry Cole, for example, and given the opportunity to ask the question, that's the question that I'd have asked first.
How do you expect, before I let you go, final question, how do you expect today to pan out?
This is the final question, is it? I don't mind in the slightest, Kay. I'm very happy to talk to you.
Yeah,
I
think of another one.
I think what will happen, I hope what will happen, is that Jeremy Hunt will come forward with some quick measures to stabilise the markets, to give the markets the confidence that we need before the markets open today, which, as your political correspondent said quite correctly, why the statement is being made from the Treasury and not in the House of Commons as normally and courteously it would be, and as the Speaker no doubt would like it. But because it's Monday, because the House is sitting at 2:30, not at 11:30, and the markets will be open, the Chancellor of the Exchequer clearly wants to make his pitch now in order to tell the markets that the country's in safe hands. And I hope that they will accept that.